Okay, everybody. So welcome back. This is Ian. It's May 2nd, 2022, and welcome back to Mindful Marketplace and our new audio series called A Tiny Revolution. This is for really authors and artists, teachers, trainers, makers, marketers, creatives, anyone who wants to make a big impact through tiny products in 2022 and beyond. All right, so a couple things. One, we're getting to the end of this series. I'm going to be moving much of our content into a new course community with short cohorts, 5, 7, 10 people at a time, for those of you who want to write books, teach courses, or create little products that make a really big impact in your life, in your brand, in your business, and hopefully in your bank account to boot. So if you're interested in joining us, I'll have a link below. This audio will be auto-published to YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on YouTube and you're interested in joining us, I encourage you to do so below. All right. So with that out of the way, one of the persistent questions that's come up a fair amount in the last 30 days as we've done this challenge has been the tools and the tech and the software that you need to create tiny products or courses or content that you can actually sell. So I want to give you a alternative approach using audio, much like the one I'm recording right now. And it's a short workflow that you're probably not going to see too much of in other places and spaces, but it's incredibly effective. It's a lot of fun. And it's probably my favorite way of creating courses that actually are ideal for cultivating clients and building a community and essentially demonstrating your own experience and expertise in a live and extemporaneous way. So here we go. So there's a couple wrinkles to this, but the primary piece of the process is step one. You're going to generate a list of keyword questions. This is pretty consistent in my own approach to this sort of content creation model. You want to go to Answer the Public. This is a keyword research tool that's very specifically oriented around generating questions that you can answer to establish your own expertise, right? So that's step one. Step number two is you want to generate the questions, right? So you plug in the keyword or the keywords that you want to educate or teach on, and you'll get a nice assortment of questions that people are asking in the niche, vertical, industry, marketplace, whatever it is that you're doing. You'll get all those questions given to you by dint of the Answer the Public tool. And it's free, right? You can do one search a day as of this recording, which is just a phenomenal gift because you can really do a deep dive in in any sort of, niche that you have extended interest in. So you can do lots of lateral kind of, every day you could do a different search, like mindfulness for kids, mindfulness for moms, mindfulness for teens, mindfulness for anxiety, mindfulness for awakening. If you're doing mindfulness and you incorporate the word for, you can literally create a different product that has some similarity every day, but that has a unique spin, a unique audience, and a unique permutation that you can use to create a product, or in this case, an audio course. All right, step number two, recruit a friend or a family member or even a client to interview you. This is just a great way of, getting, rather than the audio you're listening to right now, which is just my voice, you can actually have a interactive conversation with another human, which is really, I find, helpful in creating this sort of audio course content. Step number three, you can really choose any that you like, but I recommend the Tape-A-Call app simply because it's so damn inexpensive and it's great. They have a transcription service and it's like literally $14.99 for the year. So Tape-A-Call is on the App Store, and just download that and you can actually call your friend or family member or client or neighbor, or you can even be in the same room with the person, which I've done a zillion times, and you're just having a conversation around the questions that you generated in step number one, and they're asking these questions of you and you're answering them. So step four, answer the questions via the phone, right? Step number five, use the automatic transcription. Now, the slight wrinkle on this is that if you use helloaudio.fm, which is what we use for private audio courses, which are delivered via podcast, which is really a key step here because you're actually removing the need to have like a Podia style or Teachable Kajabi style LMS in the middle, right? You're actually just delivering the content via the podcast app or via, whatever podcast app you use, your clients use, via the actual, audio platform. In this case, helloaudio.fm. I recommend them because we use them. We also use transistor.fm. But if you're going to do a lot of these sorts of courses, Hello Audio scales the best price-wise. So Transistor, I think, on the plan that we're on, we have one private audio course that we can create. They call it something different. They call it, private audio or whatever the vernacular is escaping me right now. It's called private podcast. I'm sorry. And we have one, but on Hello Audio, we have unlimited. Like I think literally we can create 999 of these and they'll handle all the tech to deliver this to the podcast app of my clients or our community's choosing, each time they subscribe to a new course. All right, so, helloaudio.fm does the transcription too, so you don't necessarily need to use something like Tape-A-Call for the transcription, but you do need to use them for recording. You need some app like that to use for the recording. So anyway, I don't want to make this overly complex. That's the process flow that I recommend. Use Tape-A-Call for the call and use their transcription and then just upload the audio in a series to helloaudio.fm or Transistor or whatever you can afford. There are other platforms that do this as well. I'm sure there are many that I'm not even familiar with, but I know Castos does this. The private podcasting industry is really exploding, and it's a much better way of delivering this sort of content because there's no gating or restricting. You don't need to do anything other than take payment, or you don't even need to take payment necessarily. You can simply use this sort of approach as a client acquisition strategy, a lead acquisition strategy. So you're actually giving the podcast away, even the private audio podcast away, the private course, in the service of getting folks to work with you as a coach, as a consultant, or joining your community. All right, you have to clean up the transcription. That's step number 6. I mean, there's always going to be some errors in the text that's generated from audio like this. And then step number 7, you just decide on the content delivery mechanism, right? So you could use something like a membership site using Ghost, for an example, and then just restrict the content using Ghost. If you look at enlightenup.mindfulmarketplace.com, you'll see our Ghost membership site where I have audio that's restricted in this way. You can deliver it as a Gumroad product, right? So you can use Gumroad for free and then actually gate the content behind a Gumroad, either a free product or a fee-based product, and then deliver the link post-purchase. You can use something like Podia. You can use something like Circle or Heartbeat and actually have the audio embedded in private spaces or in cohorts, which is another phenomenal way of incorporating a cohort-based course community that has an audio-centric feel, right? If you look at Knowable, I think it's .io, they launched, I don't know, in the last maybe 2 years or so, they were just purchased by Medium. It's an audio-first platform that does this style. It's a little bit more sophisticated than what I'm laying out here because they've invested a ton in the underlying tech, but you can emulate the same approach for under $100 a month using the exact workflow that I'm sharing here. You can use Buy Me a Coffee. You can just send them directly to the link, etc., etc. You simply have to decide what works best for you. I'd recommend incorporating a community space, like a cohort-based community space for your audio course, which gives you the ability of adding workbooks and interactivity and all that sort of stuff within your community, which is, within your course. And that's a great way of adding lots of value, even to a free audio course, right? So you're giving that course away, and then people can listen to it, and then they have the option of actually engaging, interacting, and being part of something that has peers, or niche neighbors, or professional peers, or just other people who share their interest or passion for the topic. All right, and then the last step, number 8, is rinse and repeat. You can literally do this once a day, once a week. I mean, if you have the time and you have the topic mastery, all you need to do is just keep rinsing, repeating, and scaling the strategy. You could literally have a brand and a business that has 30 audio courses just like this set up in under a month, and be really prolific as a publisher and as a platform, even if you're just getting started. So anyway, teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. If you find this to be interesting and you'd like to incorporate this style approach, I'd encourage you to join our tiny community, where I'm going to have these very small cohorts where we'll be doing this together starting in May. You'll also get a chance to see how we're building our new book publishing platform called A Tiny Book About. And we're going to be using a lot of courses and community functionality that actually lives behind the actual book purchase. So it's something that we're really excited about. I'm really excited about it. Anyway, just a couple people are working on this with me, friends and family, and I'm really excited about doing something fun, interesting, empowering, inspiring. We're working on books for kids and teens and adults who are navigating mental health challenges and sort of dealing with the clusterfuck of a universe that we find ourselves all inhabiting together in this wild and weird world that we wake up to every day. So I'm excited about that. Lots of mindfulness-based practices and books and, courses and all this sort of stuff using the tiny model, which I love so much. Okie doke. Thank you so much as always for listening. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, mindfulmarketplace@gmail.com. And most importantly, if you're interested in really applying this approach and want to work with me directly, I recommend joining us below. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.